Never Really Knew Me, Chapter 15. "Jessica!" a deep voice screeched. It sounded like it was coming from the back door of the house, but it didn't really make me feel any better. It actually made me sob harder, fear drowning me as I hugged my knees tighter to my chest. "Torrince, go inside!" "But Dad, now!" I heard a door slam, but only vaguely. My mind was flailing around helplessly, screaming at me to get up before my uncle could kill me. Warm hands wrapped around my body, and had I been aware of myself, I would have struggled violently and bit until I drew blood, or I would have realized who was carrying me. But I wasn't aware of myself, so I just allowed the strong arms to lift me off the cement. I didn't remember how I ended up on a soft bed, but that's where I was when I began noticing my surroundings. I still hadn't stopped sobbing, though my trembling had lessened. "Jessica, sweetheart." A soft hand brushed wet strands of my hair from my forehead as another tied the bulk of my hair in a low ponytail. "Jessica, are you all right?" I felt the fabric of my comforter tuck underneath my chin and a comforting pat on my right thigh. Who was in the room with me? My tired eyes searched around me while my sobs turned into hiccups, coming upon a man with sleek-black hair, with silver strands starting at his temples. Concerned blue eyes stared down at me, nestled just beneath perfectly shaped black eyebrows. His lips were turned down with sadness, but it looked perfect with his sun-kissed, pimple-free complexion. I was staring at Tori's dad, whom she looked nothing like. "Jessica, please answer me, honey," he pleaded, putting a warm hand on my cheek. Is my uncle out of prison now?" I asked him in a small voice, so small that Mr. Lockly had to lean close to me to hear. He jerked back with a hard look in his eyes. "Sweetheart, he's only been in for a few weeks, maybe a month. He still has 30 years to go." I sighed with relief, my hiccups and trembling stopping all at once. Mr. Lockly noticed. "Jessica, what happened?" "Nothing, sir," I lied, completely forgetting about my scar. I turned my back on him and nestled comfortably in my bed, nearly falling asleep right when my head touched the pillow. Mr. Lockly's gasp had my eyes popping open. "What happened to your—" He stopped when he realized she was yelling, took a deep breath, and traced the pucker line. "Did your uncle do this?" I sighed. Why did I have to be an idiot and turn my back on him? "Yeah," I admitted through clenched teeth, and just because I knew he would ask, I flipped on my back and pushed the side of my bikini panties down, revealing the scar on my right hip. "He did that too, and this." I lifted my right arm and turned it so we could see the white line running down my triceps. "Why didn't you tell anybody about this, Jessica?" Mr. Lockly snapped, frustrated. I resisted the urge to tug my arm away from his hand, because it was 2 years ago, I said softly. By the time I remembered what happened, a week had already passed, and I'd given up on the hope that someone would help me. "I've lived with him for 4 years, Mr. Lockly, and I've managed myself just fine. I don't want to make anything else difficult right after he gets sent to prison." "And how would things get difficult if I went to the police?" "People know I'm living in a big producer's house. People know I hang out with Justin Bieber. My private life will be everyone's little entertainment, and with a juicy little detail about life with Thomas Veracruz, the press will hound me and your family for the specifics and how I'm coping. The police, while trying to sue my uncle, will be trying to protect all of us. Don't you want to avoid that?" I finished. Mr. Lockly looked unhappy, but didn't argue any further. After a few minutes of comforting me, he left me to deal with my memories on my own. The trembling returned as soon as the door shut behind me.